This is the truth about success they don't teach you. Not in school, not in college, not in the books they hand you to prepare you for a world that rewards conformity more than courage. The truth is this: success is not given. Success is claimed that it is not waiting for you at the end of a neat and predictable road. Is forged in the chaos, carved through resistance, and earned by the one who dares to keep going when the rest have surrendered. Most people have been lied to. They've been told that success is a matter of luck, connections, or being born into the right circumstances. They look at the wealthy and powerful and think they had an advantage I never had. But history itself spits in the face of that excuse. Andrew Carnegie arrived in America with nothing, a poor Scottish boy working 12-hour shifts in a factory. Henry Ford was the son of a farmer with no formal education, told he was crazy for dreaming of a car that every man could afford. Thomas Edison was considered slow, almost unteachable, and yet lit the world with 10,000 failed attempts before one incandescent triumph. The truth is this: success is never about where you start. It is about where you refuse to stop. And yet, most will never learn this. They will drift. They will shuffle through life obeying the invisible rules written to keep them small. They'll chase comfort while despising the fire of discipline. They'll spend their lives envying the man who takes the risks while convincing themselves it wasn't meant for them. But you are here because you feel something deeper. You are here because comfort tastes like poison to your soul. You are here because mediocrity burns your spirit, and you know you were built for something greater. And I'll tell you the truth they'll never put in a textbook. Greatness begins in the mind long before it shows up in the world. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of purpose, the burning desire that consumes you and refuses to be silenced. It is not a wish. A wish is weak. A wish is smoke drifting into nothing. True desire, is fire. It keeps you awake at night. It pulls you out of bed before the alarm clock. It whispers to you when no one else believes. Every empire, every invention, every fortune began as a thought. A single idea fueled by belief, disciplined by action, and protected by resilience. Yet most people abandon their ideas at the first sign of difficulty. They want the reward without the resistance, the glory without the grind. And that is why the few who stay, who endure, who refuse to quit, rise above the many who only tried once and stopped. Listen closely. Success is not complicated. It is not mystical. It is not hidden in secrets only the elite can access. It is the result of universal laws that never fail. Thought becomes reality. Belief shapes destiny, and action, sustained by discipline, bends the world in your favor. But here is where the truth stings. It demands everything from you. It will demand your comfort, your excuses, your laziness, your doubts. It will strip away every weakness until only the strongest version of you remains. That's why most people turn back. That's why they call it impossible. That's why they make excuses about timing, luck, or talent. They don't fail because they were incapable. They fail because they surrendered too soon. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost in elections, battled depression, buried his children, yet became the president who saved a nation. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination before creating a kingdom of imagination that outlived him. These men knew the truth. Failure is not the end. Failure is the chisel that shapes you, the fire that tempers your steel. The truth about success they don't teach you is that it requires a rebirth of your mind. You must destroy the old self, the self that makes excuses, the self that clings to comfort, the self that fears rejection, and replace it with the self that refuses to bend, because the world will test you. It will whisper doubts. It will send storms. It will laugh at you when you're starting small. But the world only respects those who stand unshaken in the face of ridicule, those who keep moving forward when their knees are bleeding, those who declare with their lives, "I will not be broken." Success, is not about money alone. Money is the shadow of success, not its soul. The soul of success is growth, is becoming more than you were yesterday, is conquering yourself before you conquer the world. The man who has not mastered his mind will never master his circumstances. And here is the paradox they never reveal. The greatest enemy of your success is not failure, is comfort. Failure will push you, shape you, refine you. Comfort will lull you to sleep until your dreams rot in silence. I ask you, are you willing to sacrifice what is easy for what is extraordinary? Are you willing to endure the loneliness of discipline, the pain of rejection, the sting of failure, knowing that every scar is proof you're alive, proof you're moving, proof you're becoming? Because the truth is this: the moment you decide with conviction, the universe itself begins to bend in your favor. Napoleon Hill wrote it in bold clarity: whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That is not poetry. That is law. But belief without action is fantasy, and action without discipline is wasted effort. You must hold them together, belief, action, and discipline, until the world has no choice but to give you what you demanded. Understand this: every empire begins in silence, long before the world notices. The seed of greatness is always planted in the soil of solitude. No applause, no recognition, no guarantees. Only you, your vision, and your relentless belief in what others cannot yet see. Most people look at success as if it is outside of them, as if it is something distant, something waiting for them in the future. But the truth about success they don't teach you is this: success begins the moment you decide who you are. Not who you wish to be, not who you hope to be, who you decide to be. A weak man waits for proof before he believes. A powerful man believes first, and that belief creates proof. When the Wright brothers stood on the sands of Kitty Hawk with a flying machine that looked ridiculous to the world, nobody believed it would lift off the ground. But belief is stronger than ridicule. Belief does not ask for permission. Belief simply declares, it will be done. And because they believed, because they acted, the sky itself surrendered to their vision. You must understand that the world is moved not by facts alone, but by conviction. The man who believes with unshakable certainty is more powerful than the man with 1,000 doubts, even if his knowledge is greater. History does not remember those who knew the most. It remembers those who believed the deepest, but belief cannot live in a vague mind. Vague goals create vague results. You cannot stumble into success by accident. You must see it. You must paint it vividly in your mind until it burns inside you. Napoleon Hill called it a definite chief aim. A vision so clear that every thought, every action, every breath bends toward it. Picture it. Bro, picture your success with detail so sharp you can feel it in your bones. Where do you live? How do you walk? Who do you serve? What does your empire look like? See it now. Because if you cannot see it when your eyes are closed, you will never hold it when your eyes are open. Henry Ford saw a world of affordable cars when everyone else saw horses. Steve Jobs saw a world where technology met art when others saw only circuits and code. These men lived in the future long before it existed. They carried their vision like fire in their hearts until the world had no choice but to build it around them. This is the truth they don't teach you. Success demands vision, and vision demands faith. Faith is not blind optimism. Faith is disciplined imagination. It is training your mind to see the outcome as inevitable, even when your reality laughs in your face. And hear me clearly, your environment will try to kill that vision. Friends who settle for less will call you unrealistic. Family who gave up on their own dreams will tell you to be practical. Strangers will mock what they do not understand. But remember this: the dream in your mind was not given to them. It was given to you. Protect it as if your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The man without vision is a slave to circumstance. He drifts with the tides, pulled wherever the current of society drags him. But the man with vision becomes the captain of his fate. He bends circumstance to his will because he refuses to live by accident. Ask yourself, what do you see when you close your eyes? Do you see the man who settles or the man who conquers? Do you see excuses or do you see execution? Do you see fear or do you see freedom? The truth about success they don't teach you is that your mind is a factory. Every thought is a blueprint. Every belief is a worker. Every habit is a machine. And that factory is building your future, whether you realize it or not. If you feed it doubt, it manufactures regret. If you feed it vision, it manufactures destiny. Do not underestimate the power of what you allow to live in your thoughts. A man who constantly says, "I can't," is training his mind to obey limitation. A man who constantly says, "I will," is programming his reality to obey his command. The subconscious mind does not question, it executes. Feed it weakness, and it will deliver chains. Feed it power, and it will deliver freedom. But here lies the cost. Belief is tested. The moment you declare your vision, life will push back. It will present obstacles, failures, betrayals. Not to destroy you, but to prove how badly you want it. The man who collapses at the first trial reveals he never truly believed. The man who persists, who rises each time he falls, who fights for his vision as if oxygen itself depends on it, that is the man the world eventually bows to. You must decide now. Will you believe only when it's easy, or will you believe when every voice around you screams that you're finished? Because that moment, that moment when everything looks impossible, that is the crucible of success. That is where ordinary men quit and extraordinary men are born. Understand this. Vision without belief is fantasy. Belief without action is delusion. But vision, belief, and relentless action, together they are unstoppable. They are the holy trinity of achievement. And once you grasp this, once you lock your mind into absolute clarity, no force on earth can prevent your rise. The truth about success they don't teach you is this: desire without discipline is dead. Belief without action is wasted breath. You can dream, you can visualize, you can repeat affirmations until your voice breaks, but if you will not move, if you will not act, you will stay exactly where you are. Discipline is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is the muscle that takes the dream from the mind and carves it into reality. Without discipline, even the most brilliant vision is nothing more than smoke in the wind. Look at every titan of history: Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Jobs, Musk. They were not merely men of ideas. Ideas are cheap. They were men of action, men who rose before the sun, men who gave up the easy path in exchange for the path that demanded everything from them. They understood what most people will never grasp. Discipline is freedom disguised as sacrifice. Most people run from discipline because it feels like pain. They want shortcuts, quick fixes, instant gratification. They want the crown without the weight of it pressing on their skulls. But here's the paradox. They trade discipline for comfort, and in doing so, they shackle themselves to mediocrity. They live enslaved to their own weakness, never tasting the freedom that only discipline can give. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is liberation. The man who masters himself is free, while the man who indulges every impulse is a prisoner. Success does not come to the man who does what he feels like doing. Success comes to the man who does what must be done, whether he feels like it or not. Ask yourself this. When the alarm rings, do you rise or do you roll over? When the work becomes hard, do you press forward or do you quit? Every choice is a seed. Each seed grows into the tree you will one day sit under. Plant laziness, and you will sit in the shade of regret. Plant discipline, and you will sit under the tree of abundance. Look to the lives of the greats. Thomas Edison worked night after night, testing thousands of filaments, burning through failures while others slept. Abraham Lincoln read law books by the light of a fire after long days of manual labor. Kobe Bryant shot thousands of baskets before the world ever saw him on a championship stage. These men did not worship discipline for its own sake. They used discipline as a weapon, a chisel, a hammer to build a life that most people only dream of. And here's what they never teach you. Success is not built in bursts of inspiration. It is built in the quiet repetition of daily disciplines. Inspiration gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. Discipline is the reason you move forward on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. But discipline demands sacrifice. You cannot hold on to everything and expect to rise. To climb the mountain, you must leave things behind. Comfort, distractions, weak relationships, old habits. You cannot soar with eagles while clinging to the chains of mediocrity. Something must die for the new you to be born. The man who refuses to sacrifice will never experience transformation. He will cling to his television, his late nights, his excuses, and wonder why success never found him. But success is not hiding. Success is waiting on the other side of sacrifice. Bro, hear me. When you sacrifice, the world calls you obsessed. When you refuse to waste time, they call you antisocial. When you commit to your vision, they call you extreme. But what they call obsession, discipline calls devotion. And what they call extreme, history calls greatness. Do you not fear being misunderstood? Every revolutionary was misunderstood at first. They laughed at Edison. They mocked Ford. They doubted Disney. They ridiculed Jobs. Yet time silenced every critic, because results are the only language success speaks. Action, discipline, sacrifice. This is the trinity of achievement. Action makes your belief real. Discipline sustains that action. Sacrifice clears the path of everything unworthy of your destiny. But here's the hidden truth. Success is not about working endlessly without direction. Action without clarity is wasted energy. Discipline without purpose is slavery. Sacrifice without vision is destruction. You must bind them together under your definite chief aim. Every action aligned. Every sacrifice intentional. Every discipline a step toward the vision that burns inside you. When you operate this way, you become unstoppable. Life may delay you, but it cannot deny you. Obstacles may slow you, but they cannot break you. Because every day, every choice, every act of discipline is compounding interest in the bank of destiny. And one day, that account explodes into abundance, while those who mocked your sacrifices sit in regret. The truth about success they don't teach you is this: freedom is expensive, and the currency is discipline. The man who pays the price will taste it. The man who avoids the price will die in chains, wondering why life felt so heavy. So rise. Take action today. Discipline yourself until discipline becomes identity. Sacrifice what is unworthy of the man you are becoming. Because in the end, the only thing more painful than discipline is regret. The truth about success they don't teach you is that the path will break you before it builds you. No man has ever achieved greatness without being tested, crushed, doubted, ridiculed, and brought to his knees. Success is not the reward for avoiding pain. It is the reward for enduring it. You must understand, resilience is the armor of the successful. Life will strike you down. People will betray you. Plans will collapse. The market will shift. Your efforts will seem wasted. But the one who rises after being struck is more dangerous than the one who never fell. Because resilience does not just return you to where you were. It makes you stronger than you've ever been. Think of Abraham Lincoln, who failed in business, lost multiple elections, suffered depression so dark it nearly consumed him, yet still rose to lead a broken nation through its greatest trial. Think of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years behind bars, stripped of freedom, humiliated by his oppressors, yet emerged not with bitterness, but with a vision that united his country. These men were not spared hardship. They were baptized in it. And that baptism forged resilience no enemy could shatter. Most people quit not because they lack potential, but because they cannot endure pain. They believe struggle, means stop. They interpret difficulty as a sign they should turn back. But here's the truth they'll never teach you in school. Struggle is the path. Resistance is proof you are moving. Pain is the tax success demands, and if you are unwilling to pay it, you are unworthy of the crown. Resilience is not just bouncing back. It is adapting, evolving, becoming sharper in the face of adversity. The oak tree that refuses to bend in the storm is ripped from the ground. The reed that bends survives and rises again. Strength is not stubbornness. Strength is the wisdom to adapt without losing direction. Look at Thomas Edison. 10,000 failed experiments could have ended his pursuit. Each failure was a storm that could have uprooted his dream. But Edison adapted, adjusted, persisted. "I have not failed," he said. "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is resilience. That is adaptability. That is persistence, the unholy trinity of survival that separates the conqueror from the quitter. You must burn this truth into your soul. Persistence always wins. Not talent, not genius, not luck. Persistence. The world is littered with men of talent who never finished, with men of brilliance who lacked discipline, with men of luck who squandered it all. But persistence, raw, unshakable persistence, outlasts them all. Napoleon Hill called persistence the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. In other words, persistence is the proof of your belief. If you truly believe in your vision, you will never stop pursuing it. If you give up at the first sign of defeat, your belief was never belief at all. It was a wish. Bro, let this sink in. Every time you rise after falling, you are not the same person you were before. You are stronger, smarter, harder to kill. Every setback is a deposit into your reservoir of resilience. Every failure adds another layer of armor to your spirit. And when enough layers have been built, nothing, no rejection, no betrayal, no defeat can break you. But resilience is not passive. It is not waiting for time to heal you. It is active. It is choosing to stand up when your legs are trembling. It is deciding to keep going when your heart is heavy. It is refusing to let circumstances dictate your destiny. The truth about success they don't teach you is that greatness is less about talent and more about refusal. Refusal to quit. Refusal to surrender. Refusal to be defined by defeat. Every man who has ever changed the world carried this stubborn, relentless, almost irrational persistence. Look to Henry Ford. He went broke 5 times before building the Ford Motor Company. 5 times the world told him to quit. 5 times he faced ruin. But persistence did not ask for permission. Persistence demanded another attempt. And the man who refused to surrender gave birth to an industry that reshaped civilization. And you, yes, you must carry the same spirit. Because the world will not make it easy. No one will hand you success. At times, it will feel like the universe itself conspires against you. But understand, the universe is not against you. It is testing you. It is asking, how badly do you want it? Are you willing to bleed for it? Are you willing to crawl for it? Are you willing to sacrifice everything for it? The weak crumble under this test. The strong endure. The extraordinary rise. Persistence is not glamorous. It is not applauded in the beginning. It is lonely. It is gritty. It is repetition in the dark when no one is watching. But persistence is the silent force that builds empires. And one day, the world that mocked you, doubted you, ignored you, will stand in awe of you. So when the storm comes, do not curse it. Thank it. Because every storm is shaping you, sharpening you, preparing you for the throne that comfort could never give. This is the truth they don't teach you. Success is not a straight line. It is a battlefield. And persistence is the only soldier who survives every war. The truth about success they don't teach you is that while discipline and persistence build empires, gratitude keeps the soul alive. Without gratitude, you will climb to the peak only to find emptiness at the top. Gratitude is not weakness, it is strength. It is the awareness that even in struggle, even in scarcity, you are still breathing, still fighting, still alive. And as long as you are alive, you have power. The man without gratitude is never satisfied. He gains wealth and still feels poor. He achieves victory and still feels defeated. He is forever chasing, never arriving. But the man who is grateful transforms every small win into fuel for the greater battle. Gratitude multiplies abundance because it trains the mind to see progress instead of lack. Andrew Carnegie built an empire of steel, but he said that the true wealth of a man was not measured by his fortune, but by the richness of his gratitude and the legacy he leaves behind. Walt Disney, despite bankruptcy, rejections, and betrayals, remained grateful for the ability to create, and that gratitude kept his imagination alive when others would have let bitterness kill it. Gratitude does not mean complacency. It does not mean you stop striving. It means you honor the process. You respect the struggle. You recognize that every setback is sharpening your character. Every delay is strengthening your patience. Every failure is forging your resilience. Gratitude is the lens that allows you to see pain not as punishment, but as preparation. And this is the highest mastery, bro, the mastery of the inner world. Because success, before it is ever about money, fame, or freedom, is about conquering yourself. A man who has not mastered his emotions will always be a slave to them. A man who cannot control his fears will always bow to them. A man who cannot govern his mind will never govern his life. The Stoics of ancient Rome knew this. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote in his journals daily reminders to himself: master the mind, remain disciplined, stay unmoved by praise or insult. He understood what Napoleon Hill later confirmed: the mind is everything. Conquer it, and the world bends to you. Neglect it, and the world consumes you. This is the truth about success they don't teach you. The greatest victory is the victory over self. Because once you conquer yourself, your fears, your doubts, your impulses, no external force can chain you. And when you have vision, belief, discipline, persistence, gratitude, and inner mastery, then you are unstoppable. Then you are no longer merely a participant in life, but a creator of it. You move with a power that others cannot understand because you are not reacting to the world. You are commanding it. But here, bro, is the final truth they will never teach you. Success is not a destination. It is not a point you arrive at one day and declare, I am finished. No, success is a climb without end. A climb that sharpens you every single day until your last breath. You do not climb the mountain to plant your flag and rest forever. You climb because climbing transforms you. You climb because the struggle against gravity builds strength no comfort could ever give. You climb because with each step higher, the air grows thinner, the view more breathtaking, and the man you are becoming more unrecognizable compared to the man you once were. And so the question is not, will you reach the top? The question is, will you keep climbing? Because the top is an illusion. The growth, the power, the freedom, they live in the climb. So rise. Rise every morning with clarity. Rise every day with discipline. Rise every night with gratitude. And when you are struck down, rise again. Because success does not belong to the chosen few. It belongs to the relentless few. The few who refuse to quit. The few who endure every storm. The few who understand this truth. You are not here to live small. You are not here to shrink, to settle, to drift into mediocrity. You are here to expand, to conquer, to transform thought into reality, and to leave behind proof that one human life, one vision, one decision, one soul set on fire can change the world. This is the truth about success they don't teach you. It is within you. It has always been within you. And the moment you claim it, the moment you declare it, the moment you decide to pay the price and never surrender, the world will open its gates to take the vision in your mind. Wrap it in discipline. Protect it with persistence. Fuel it with gratitude. Sharpen it with resilience. and live it with such unshakable conviction that the universe itself must bow to your will, because success is not waiting. Success is not hiding. Success is not some far-off dream. Success is you, reborn, relentless, unstoppable, and the world will never teach you this truth. But now you know.